So, this is the look ma, no hands. Me driving this thing from the floor. Thing. Going down, no problem. Going back up, no problem. You notice the snapshot there is locked on 3. Wherever you save a snapshot as the last one in a preset, that's the default. So let's change that. That's working fine. I'm going to change the view. That's working fine. Preset up and down. Working lovely. So mixing snapshots, speed, CC, and tap tuner. All works, which I think is great. So, we turn off this acoustics in. What else have we got in there? Cosmos Echo. Change the snap. You notice there, changing tap tempo, you're getting these cool tape effect squeals. Stuff you can do with tape effects and tap tempo is amazing. This is on 8th triplets. I think this is really cool. Switch to the snapshot screens. If you notice, that jumped up to a different preset because that's what I had set in the snapshot. I had one helix firing that button there to jump to the next snapshot, so you could jump from snapshot to snapshot remotely. So, a lot of power in a remote, and the main point of the remote is once you've built one that can do everything, you can take this and cut it up into pieces, into little ribbons, and paste into your other presets knowing that that's going to work. Yeah, so stick whatever block in there you want, stick whatever amp in there you want, stick whatever in there you want. Build up your first snapshot as you want, copy and paste to all the other them, and then start tweaking, making the little changes between them. That's kind of how this grid thing works. Nothing is saved in the underlying snapshots. That's the way to do it. And in no time whatsoever, I've been on this, today, and from 0. It takes no time to do this stuff, and you have a template here, so I hope that's really helpful. Alright, here we have the big floor. This would be the completed one. So let me show you how this works. These foot switches on one. This is a very simple, no blocks, just one block going out to send mono from the floor up to the stomp. That's just to pass music from the Variax. Wouldn't necessarily need that, but this will work remotely. So in my stomp mode, I've put snapshots here on the end, so I can cycle through that. I've then got foot switches 1, 2, 3, and tap tempo. Foot switch 4 and 5 I've set up as HXSTOMP presets up and down. That would require you to use your 4 and 5 with preset up, preset down. I think most people do that anyway. There's different ways to do it, but that's how that works. Hit mode, you go to snap mode. Down the bottom here, I've sort of used presets, so I've set this one to jump to 59 up there on the stomp, this one to 58. So each snapshot can change a preset, no problem. Up here, I've set it up to use snapshot 1, 2, and 3 on the stomp. So what I'm doing to change is hitting that and then driving it from here. If you get that, or in snapshot mode, hit 59, it goes back there, and you can set whichever snap you want. And all that works great. If you do it for stomp mode, I think it's a little more what you'd be used to as a MIDI controller, and it's great. So you've got two basic views to look at. And if you dig into the preset in HXEdit, it'll really make sense to you what's going on. The key things to remember are wherever you have an instant message. There we go. Your instant messages, which are here, wherever they start out in snapshot 1, if it's a PC, a CC, a CC, a PC, whatever, it's going to stay out through all 8 snapshots. If you start changing those around, like the values you can change, but whether it's a PC or a CC, you have to decide right from the start and see what's going on. And you need to copy and paste all the snapshots together and then edit them. Otherwise, you need to go in here, and for every single one of these that you want it to do something, you've got to edit it. So that could take time. It's much faster just copying and pasting the general thing and then making little changes. That's all there is to it. Not hard to do. It does work extremely well. The tap tempo is a joy. So that's allowing me to run a reverb, a very big delay, the acoustic sim, all that's running in the stomp. And what you can do here now is with the big floor, switch through Variax settings. You can adjust this to every guitar you want. You can change all of your other settings in there. Or you could run the floor in the Dark Horse mode, which will take the singular upper DSP and duplicate it onto the bottom one, which means this thing will never, ever have gaps or lose sound, which is what Steve and I met over way back when. And almost, had a discussion to the point where it's like, a little bit of gap is fun. It was like, no, you can do it another way. And, we're now both on the same side, on the same team, working this stupid thing out. And this Dark Horse thing, go and check his vid, seriously, but this Dark Horse thing, to me, has the potential to be mega, mega, mega. You kind of got to get your head around it and see what's what. But essentially, you no longer have a limit of 8 snapshots. You can have multiples of 8 snapshots. You can join masses of presets together, you know, and have this revolving mega Gatling gun cannon of sound arriving at people, which is just unreal. Gonna take some finessing to get your head around it, I think. You know, I haven't got my head fully locked onto it yet, but my entire rig is designed around this. You know, the portable one is displacing DSP, and this is the big boy. And adding all of them together is easily the equivalent of 2.5 helixes cranking. And I love that, really do. I think this 3 is going to be beyond amazing, and we'll be able to do stuff in hardware and in software. If you want to do this in native, go ahead, but you know, that was another topic of discussion. You've got so much power in computers now to do all this stuff, but do you want to be stuck on a computer? Me personally, no. Don't really know why, but I much prefer messing with the actual helix. Might change my mind on that, but for now, that's for me. So good luck, Steve. Hope this helps you out, man. And when you're digging through doing this 5 snapshot thing, I think seriously you could do it. There might be better or worse ways to do it. We should all work on that, because that would be awesome. It really would. Check ya. Alrighty, peoples. So, what a day this Sunday has been. We started off with some really weird requests yesterday for, I wouldn't say advanced stuff, but we found a kind of, not a bug, but a weird thing. So today has been all about an idea based on the subject that was brought up last night on Aaron Short's live stream, which was making 2, you know, multiple helix things, which is something I've been working on for a while and I've been doing for a while, and it's pretty cool. So this is a niche kind of subject. If you don't have a floor and a stomp, you know, carry on looking at it, but the basic premise here is this. I'm taking my floor, which I use at home to create sounds with. I have a stomp which goes with me when I'm not at home, and I carry on the work on that. So generally what I'm doing is using the floor to crunch down the sounds into a stomp size thing. And since 3's come out, everything changes. As you'd expect, you've got Command Center now in the little stomp, and that opens up a world of possibilities. And this really means thinking about what Command Center does do and does not do. So this behavior thing aside, I've covered that today. Go back and look at the other videos. I'll try and link it, and I'll do a big video on this one. So here's the idea. To maximize the DSP you have, if you've got a floor sitting around as a backup, or if you've got, you know, anything that's going to hold the DSP, we're trying to spread it out, make an all-in-one super controlled multiple pedal DSP rig. Scalable idea. So if you've got bunches of stuff, it doesn't have to be all helix stuff, it can be extra stuff. You're just trying to make room in the helixes so you have the room to run more of these super poly effects and create sounds. And the big idea is to spend a lot of time building this, to spend a lot less time later testing out sounds. It's just something you do all day and all night in beta testing. You know, it's really cool. So on with it. First, big up to Steve Sterlacci. He just put out a magnificent HXSTOMP 3.0 thing, and he's covering basics of the Command Center. Super video, super production value. Killing it. Love Audrey. You should go and see that, and you can now see this. And what I'm going to introduce, I'll swing the iPad down and show you. I've made 2 presets for the floor, which are remotes. One is an unfinished one, and the idea is this. In Bermuda, where I grew up and went to school as a little kid, there was an unfinished church, a cathedral that was built and then abandoned because they moved the center of the island, the city, from where I lived in St. George's into Hamilton. There's another place like this near here in Tuscany called San Galgano, which is a mecca for photography. So what's so cool about this is I'll show you the unfinished one, which indicates all the layers that you have inside the command center. Every snapshot has command center 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 messages, 6 instant command messages. Now, what an instant command message does is it goes out when you switch that snapshot. All 6 of them from left to right fire. So what can you do with that? You can tell the Helix to change a parameter, you know, turn up the drive. You can do anything that you'd have on a snapshot, you can do like that. So you can send, hey, Helix stomp, change to this snapshot. Iridium, give me more drive. Plethora, switch this bank. There's a grid of, in the stomp, 3 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 by 6, so 18 commands, which will go out instantly as you change through the snapshots. There are also 5 foot switches which can be programmed to do different things. So, it can get complicated. Most of us, up until now, we've used MIDI controllers to control our stomps remotely. The HX Floor is one massive MIDI controller and can do cool things, but it behaves differently from an MC6, it behaves differently from Onsong. All of your generic decent controllers, the Pirate MIDI one that's going to come out, you know, these are all things you have to see. This is where things get really, really interesting. So what these 2 commands do, the unfinished church is one snapshot is completed, the second one is half completed, the other 3 are not. And what you'll find is this. It's called UNF. Open up the UNF one, go through the first snapshot and you'll see everything's working great. Go to the next one, you'll see it's not. Go to the next one, you see it's not. And this replicates for you where commands have not been copied and pasted and modified all over the place. So on the floor, it's huge. You've got 12 buttons, 3 expression pedals, and the 2 Variax knobs, all of which can do different things. Massive deal. So it's super powerful, times 8, yeah, for the 8 snapshots. So that's a boatload of data in one preset, which can go out and do things. Well worth doing. The second one is the finished church. Well, the nearly finished church. I finished up like 7 of the snapshots and left the 8th one for you to mess around with. And the way these work is, your floor can be on whatever number you want, but not 4. The stomp, in my case, is 4. So all of the MIDI channels in this thing are set to 4. If you want to change it, change it. Or if you want, just go to your stomp, connect it up, MIDI out to MIDI in, done. Change the value in global settings for the channel to be 4, and you can test this out. If you like it, if it's worth your while, modify it to your number, or I would strongly suggest that everybody who has a Helix that hasn't done masses of testing, if you can go in 4, go in 4, because all my presets are going to be that way. If we all have the same presets, we can exchange these things back and forth and spend less time messing with them. That's the other caveat with these. The workflow you want to use for this, go into HXEdit by force. I do almost everything by hand manually. There's no way you can do this manually. You're copying and pasting, you could do it, but it would just take forever. Use HXEdit. Build the first snapshot, copy it, paste it into all 3 or all 8, and then go in and edit the things that you want changed. That way the behaviors work between one and the other. The second one seems to be working cool. These presets are a almost carbon copy of my little DAE purple thing, which is somewhere around here. 4-switch thing, and what it's controlling are snapshots on the HXSTOMP. The next snapshot, just that. So you hit it repeatedly and you cycle through all 3. The Helix screen or view button, you can switch between modes just like you would on a regular stomp. So you've got stomp mode, you've got snap mode, you've got bank mode. and something else, 4, and it cycles through them. You could make that specific. I then have foot switches 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is for Steve Sterlacci, who's waiting on his 2-button switch to come. You got a floor, Steve. Load this up, try it out. This thing will drive the stomp perfectly for this, and so you can use the floor to test everything working in your stomp. When you have 4 snaps, 5 snaps, 6 snaps, this is the beauty of having a floor. You can really experiment quickly, and you've got room to play around with. If you're just on a stomp, it's harder. If you're mixing a stomp and a HXFX, better. Cool, but floor is the way, and you can see everything, and it's great. So, end of that. Go down. I'll show you the 2 of them, and I'll show you what they do.